the festival of Pesach, is approaching quickly. The festival where we celebrate the exodus from Egypt. We celebrate our freedom. I remember Rabbi Eli Tikva Sarah talking to me about how bizarre it was in her mind that we celebrate our freedom by limiting our freedom. In other words, we celebrate Pesach by limiting what we can eat in particular. And while I understand that sentiment, it does make sense to some extent. We're not totally free to do anything we want. Freedom in Judaism means freedom to serve God in particular. Freedom to make Jewish choices, we might say. The question about how much we limit ourselves on Pesach, though, is a really interesting one. Because of this notion of kitniyot, which are legumes. In the Middle Ages, the custom developed to not allow eating kitniyot on Pesach. And what we're talking about here are rice, corn, peas, mustard seed, and all beans. And so the custom developed in Ashkenazi communities, particularly in Germany and France, of banning these foods as well as the normal chametz, the normal leavened products. And so that made Pesach much, much more difficult in terms of food, especially for Jewish vegetarians. There weren't so many in the past, but nowadays, celebrating Pesach but not being able to eat rice and beans and other things is extremely challenging for a vegetarian. And so the rabbis discussed whether or not this is appropriate, ever since this custom was created of limiting kitniyot. And the reason that they were limited was because their flour in particular looks like chametz flour, and we want to be sure not to confuse the two. What's fascinating, though, is that in Tractate Pesachim, there is a Rabbi Rav Huna who asks about the two dishes for dipping, and says beet and rice. And Rava used to be particular for beet and rice on Pesach. However, there's one other rabbi who says, no, we cannot eat these things, and he is isolated from his peers. In other words, even in Talmud, people eat kitniyot, people eat these grains, these legumes. So what do we do with this? Some people keep the custom that they had handed down to them from parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, of not eating kitniyot on Pesach, not eating these legumes on Passover. However, others, including even the conservative movement, have turned around and said, this is a foolish restriction. This is actually unnecessary. I want to share this with you now to help you prepare for Passover as you want to celebrate it. And so I have a document called Kitniyot or Not, which I like to send out around this time, to help you have a look through and ask yourself, do you want to limit kitniyot or not? Or do you want to allow rice and peas and corn and beans at your Seder and throughout Pesach? And this handout provides sources for why you might not want to eat kitniyot, and also provides sources for why you might want to allow kitniyot. And so I encourage you to have a look at this and to discuss it in your family, discuss it amongst those who are coming to your Seder. What I can share is that our communal Seder, we will be allowing kitniyot. We will be serving legumes. And that communal Seder is on Tuesday, the 23rd of April. It's coming up really soon. And what I have to share, very exciting, is that we're already over 50% booked for our communal Seder, where we get around 150 people sitting, singing, enjoying the Seder. It's an extremely fun event. A moving event, though, because we are, of course, celebrating our freedom from slavery. It's a transformative event, and it's a wonderful gathering. So I encourage you to please email Wendy and Faith if you are interested in coming to our communal Seder places are going really, really quickly. And if you're too late, there's nothing we can do. We have a limited room. But having 150 of us or so in the social hall, even into the sanctuary a little bit, makes for an extraordinary, a really memorable Seder. We have young people who look for the Afikoman around the community. We sing songs, we say prayers. It is a wondrous event. That's Tuesday the 23rd of April. If you would like to come, please, as soon as possible, get in touch with Faith and Wendy. I invite you to join us also, of course, for our Kabbalat Shabbat service this evening and tomorrow morning for Julius's Bar Mitzvah ceremony. We're very lucky to have so many B'nai Mitzvah and B'not Mitzvah in our community. We've had a number over the last few weeks and we have more coming up. Julius's drush is a brilliant drush. I know I tend to always say that, but that's because these kids, these young adults, are so smart and so engaged in their Judaism. And what they need is your support. They need you there at the ceremony to show them that we care about them. So I encourage you to join us for our Kabbalat Shabbat service, for our Torah study tomorrow about Nadav and Avihu, and what is it that causes them to be killed by God as they make an offering of alien fire. What does that mean? Encourage you to join us for our Shabbat Shacharit service in the morning for our Bar Mitzvah ceremony, and please have a look at Tuesday the 23rd of April, and if you are able to come, interested in coming to our Seder, please do let us know as soon as possible. And if you have any questions about this kitniyot or not document then that we're going to send out, please do be in touch with me as well. I'll be happy to answer questions. I wish you Shabbat Shalom.